Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's discussion. I'm Jonasa, and I'm the teacher for Psychology and Theory of Knowledge for the IB Diploma program. With me, I have Audi. Audi, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Good morning, my name is Jonas Audi. I graduated from IB in May 2020 and I first joined the program in 2018. Right now I'm looking for a university to go to.
Right. Okay, so Audi, first of all, thank you very much for willing to make time to come here. We really appreciate it. Okay, so how does it feel coming back to Selama?
Well, it's weird because I thought I was done with my high school, but then I have to come back here and do this interview.
Okay.
And I would just like to be done.
I really appreciate your time here. All right, so now there are a lot of curriculum to choose from, right, in the world. There's Cambridge, there's IB, there's national curriculum, and maybe a lot more. But you decide to choose IB.
Right.
Why is that? What's the reason?
Well, it's an internationally recognized diploma. If you take it, then many universities will open their doors for you.
Right.
And another thing is that it's quite challenging, as some people have said. I thought it would help me develop as a person if I took on something that's more challenging than what I've experienced before. And by taking the IB, I thought that I could develop some of my skills because up to then, all of my previous experiences at school have been going rather smoothly.
Right.
And the last thing is that IB allows you to pick your own subjects. If you have the freedom to choose your own subjects, then you'd be more willing to learn because you're more interested in the subjects.
Right.
And overall, it makes the learning experience more fun.
Okay. Now, you mentioned developing some skills.
Right.
Now, what skills do you think that you have mastered throughout the IB process?
Well, for one, it's the first thing is independence. Because you mostly are restricted to yourself when you take on those hardships. For example, most of the assignments given by the IB are individual. So even if you can consult your friends or your teachers, at the end of the day, you have to write those things yourself.
Okay. How about in terms of time management skills?
Yeah, it also develops the time management skills because you have to make time of the day to do your work while also doing other activities that you would normally do.
How about okay, now in IB you have to type a lot, right? You have TOK essay, you have EE, you have IA, and so on and so forth, right? Now, according to you, were you able to develop significant higher level of writing skills through those assignments?
Yeah, definitely, especially because in IB you have to take language literature at A, and those have a lot of writing exercises.
Okay.
Because the exams are also like essays of 700 words upwards, and you also have the written tasks and a bunch of other tasks that you have to do, and they all involve writing a constructive essay. So through that, you will learn to write a lot, and especially in TOK, where you have to learn the proper writing skill of an argument essay.
Right. Okay. Now, maybe the last skill maybe I would like to ask is about thinking skill. Do you think that your thinking skill is being sharpened throughout throughout the learning in IB?
Yes. In some subjects, it's not only about memorization, like in math and physics, for example. The exam questions are not only based on your formula memorization, for example, because the IB even gives you a booklet for formulas.
Right.
Besides learning the formulas, you have to understand the topic very deeply, or else the IB questions might throw you off because it's not used to what you usually learn.
Okay.
For example, in the textbook, you might encounter a question which asks about how you would apply the formula in this way, but the test is completely different and forces you to look at it from another perspective.
Right.
So it develops your thinking skills through that way of examination questions.
And it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn not only how to memorize things, but actually know how to apply things, right?
Right.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, so now maybe you can share, like, what are some of the positive experience that you experienced throughout the 2 years of studying IB in Selama?
Well, I've made a lot of friends that have really helped me throughout the IB process. If you have friends, then it's definitely a lot easier because you can experience the IB life together.
Right.
And you can always ask your friends for help when you need assistance. And another thing is that the teachers were really helpful. So whenever I had questions and I had trouble with something, they would help me understand it, and that made a lot of things easier. For example, if you have trouble with your EE, then consulting your teacher would help it by a lot. And through the support system of friends and teachers, IB becomes a lot more manageable, even though it doesn't seem that easy at first. And through those, it becomes a lot easier to deal with the IB hardships that come your way.
So support from friends and teachers are really crucial, eh?
Right.
Alright. Okay. So, but now you are done with IB, right? Okay. So, what's your next plan then?
Well, for now, I'm learning German intensively because I plan to go to a German university in the future. And I'm learning it every day. It's very similar to IB, except that it's one subject and it's a lot more work because in IB you still have downtime between exams and homework.
Right.
But this time, learning language is continuous and I have to learn every day to not lose my abilities. It definitely is a lot more challenging than IB was, but IB is also challenging in its own right, and it helps you prepare for future endeavors.
Right. Having studying IB for 2 years, do you feel like more confident going to university?
Yes, because I've heard that in universities they also throw in assignments that are similar in nature to the ones that IB give. So by doing those assignments first, you will know firsthand how to write better essays and therefore make your life a lot easier in university.
Okay.
And some of the subjects in IB, especially HL, also go into university material. So that will help you in your first year because you've already gone through those material before.
Okay, all right, okay. So, now according to you, okay, you're going to university, right?
Right.
Okay, how does having an IB diploma helps in terms of the application process to university?
Well, first thing is the IB diploma is typically more recognized than, for example, the ijazah because it's an international diploma, like I've mentioned before. In Germany, for example, if you have the IB diploma and you meet all of the requirements, then you will be directly admitted to the university. Whereas if you graduated with an ijazah, you would have to take an additional year of college. And that definitely helps the application process. And because the IB diploma is usually ranked higher than the ijazah,
Right.
then you will have more opportunities to join the university that you want to join.
Okay. So how long do you have to study at the university?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. So if you did not have the IB diploma, can you still study 3 years or do you have to study longer?
No, you have to study for 4 years because of the mandatory 1 year of
Right.
college education.
Okay. So IB is really helpful, yeah.
Yeah.
It shortens the
Yeah.
study period in university.
Right.
All right. Okay. So right now we have new students in IB for grade 11, and we have your juniors in grade 12. Now, if I ask you, what tips would you give to them to survive and to perform well in IB?
Well, the most important tip is to learn to manage your time well. Don't procrastinate like I did a lot of times, because if you do that, then you will notice that you have a lot more work than you could manage in a short amount of time, and that definitely gives a lot of stress. And you might not even be able to do those assignments or study for exams effectively because you have so little time. So in the end, that will lower your marks for those two because you couldn't put in your full effort. And another tip I would give is to have a great social circle. Just make a lot of friends, and you can talk to those friends to help you along the way in your IB life. Having friends to talk to can allow you to express some of your emotions that you would otherwise repress, and if you express your emotions, then some of the burden in your inner self will be lifted.
Okay.
And another thing I would add is to also ask teachers questions that you don't understand. By asking questions, you can help yourself by filling in the gap in your knowledge, and that helps you with exams and also assignments. If you ask your teachers to help you in those, then those will go a lot more smoothly than if you just kept it to yourself and worked it out yourself, because having a second opinion is always really good. And the last thing I would add is to always pay attention in class, because by paying attention in class, then you would have a better grasp of the topics that are explained. And if you're studying for an exam, for example, then if you've paid attention in class, then you would only have to review some parts of it. Whereas if you didn't study, you would have to review most of the things because you don't understand and you don't have a general grasp of the topic.
Or from scratch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Audi, I think that's really, really important tips, and I hope that the new students and your junior in grade 12 can hear this, so they can perform well in IB, and hopefully they can get high score as well, like you maybe, for example. Right? Okay, Audi, the last one. Can you give words of encouragement to your juniors?
I highly recommend taking the IB. It's not as easy as other curriculums, and it has its own hardships, but if you take it, then you will experience growth in your abilities, because you're forced to take on some things that you're not comfortable with. And by taking the IB, you can also get some good experience, with friends or with teachers. And you also get a free diploma in the process,
right.
An internationally recognized diploma. So I highly recommend taking the IB. If you're considering it, just go with it. It's not that easy, but it works out in the end.
Audi, again, thank you very much for coming here today. Thank you for willing to make time to come here and share some valuable knowledge. Thank you very much. Right, everyone, that's it for today. This is Audi, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.